deal with you Negroes. Oh man. Whew. Wait for a couple people to jump on in the room, and then we'll get the show going. Get the popcorn ready. We got a good one.
Sixers still some shit.
Man, I saw that. Sixers still lost. But I don't think Maxey's 100% because I saw he only played like 20 minutes or something like that. Yeah, he played 19 minutes.
And
Like
George got hurt again.
yeah, it just didn't look right. Yeah,
Paul George.
they might as well just I
his
don't
knee.
know, bro. They might as well just let it go. Just let it go. Speaking of that, let's go. Well. The boys are back. Welcome everybody back for your favorite late night gambling show. This is Gambling Nights, where we talk about pop culture, we talk about gambling stories, and any type of hot takes you guys have got or we have to get the show popping. I hope you got your popcorn ready. We got a great show for you today. I'm the host. They call me the CEO. They call me Moss Money. And of course, I got my guy with me. Be humble, bro. What's going on, man? Good evening to you.
Good evening. Good evening, man. It's a Wednesday hump day, almost Friday.
Yeah.
Holidays around the corner. Turkey
Yeah.
Day. Christmas right behind that.
Yeah, about to have another addition to the Moss family. It's all getting kind of crazy.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, for those who have joined, I'm going to start it off a little bit different. I'm going to give you the full rundown first. So, in the replay, if you're watching this on the replay, you can jump down to the chapters I'll have listed below where you can jump to wherever you want to go to so you don't might have to listen to us talk all the time. So, first thing we're going to talk about is NCAA conference championship title games. Is it risky for teams? And then we're going to get into the Sixers, Maxey, the call-out, Embiid, what we saw today. Then we're going to talk about it was the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson boxing match rigged. Got a nice video for y'all to check out there. God breaks it down. Changing of the guard in sports. The whole Trump dance phenomenon thing that we're seeing. And the NCAA, I don't know. There was a late ad with the NCAA changing for football the roster spots. I don't know if that was already on the docket. That just got passed. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So, first thing we want to talk about, though, is there's been a lot of articles, and I think some of the, like the Pat McAfee's of the world and people, I think Lane Clifton came out and kind of had, say that again? Did I say it's
Kiffin. Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, Kiffin. Lane Kiffin came out and had some words about, like, with the college championship now, with college playoffs, how risky is this now for teams to actually go out and go get like win their division and win their conference, pretty much, when they have the playoffs right behind it? I think there's an old saying that SEC was always like the national championship. That championship game was like a old kind of outage thing to say. But now I don't know, like, teams like, Bama or, Georgia's a little bit tough because I think Georgia has what, 2 losses or 3? 2. Where's Bama? 1? 2. Who's got 1 loss? Who's usually a 1-loss team? Penn State? Texas? Yeah. So okay, we'll just use Texas for now. So Texas goes to their conference championship game and lose. Like, how do you weigh that? Like, where do they fall to at that point? And I think that's where Lane was kind of talking about. I know you kind of did a great job of putting the details of the show that they get together today for us, bro. So But that's what I kind of looked at and kind of saw, and I was like, wow, that's really a good question because it's starting to kind of come together.
Yeah.
Um, and we're kind of trying to see what the seeding looks like. But what teams do you see where this is a big could affect really much? I would think Georgia would probably be one of them. Pretty much. But what do you see these teams affecting? What do you think of how the NCAA is going to handle all this?
I don't think it's really anything they can do right now. I mean, the good thing about it is that it's 2 years left on the deal, so they only have to worry about it for 2 more years. Um, so I think the adjustment will be made after the second year, that once it's over, right? Once the commitment to conference championships are over. So what happens now is that since you have a national championship in a 12 team bracket, it almost hurts teams that are already in the mix of that playoff bracket to play an extra game, right? Because your conference championship game is ultimately an extra game, and
Right.
it can ultimately hurt somebody that's already like in the path of being a playoff team. So, in ways it could possibly help some teams, like a Colorado, like they would probably have to need to win their Big 12 championship to get in. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it can hurt a team like Ole Miss, or it can hurt a team like, say, Georgia gets to the ACC championship. I mean, I'm sorry, to the SEC championship, and they play or they lose, but they'll drop out, right? They'll drop out the playoffs because they will have the third loss. So
Yeah.
it gets a little tricky when it comes down to that team. Matter of fact, it happened to Georgia last year. Remember, they went to the SEC championship against Bama, and they were in the playoffs in the top four teams, and they lose to Bama. Then they get swapped for Bama. They go into the sixth spot. So it's almost like you said. It's like almost a travesty for a team to want to play extra game, especially when you have teams like Notre Dame, who's an independent and don't got a championship game. They just can sit on a bye week and be chilling. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of them things where it's a double-edged sword, because you have to worry about an opportunity for your team to possibly lose and then drop out of the playoffs, and you can also have another opportunity for a key player in your team to get hurt.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's the impact of that is because the weight of a conference championship with this type of playoff system. I think everybody wants to win the national championship versus their conference championship if they have to weigh it.
For sure. And I think another a great example of this was Florida State. Florida State got
Florida State, yep,
screwed
they
last
lost their
year.
quarterback. Yep,
Lost their quarterback and undefeated,
undefeated,
and then
and still won.
still won, and
Beat
then didn't
Louisville
get in.
and didn't get in because they
Didn't
lost their
get
quarterback.
in. And I was just looking at something here. So there could be three teams that actually have three losses: Ole Miss, Bama, um, Georgia, and who is that?
Tennessee,
Who
and they're all in the SEC.
in SEC? Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah,
Yep.
Tennessee. Yeah.
So this
So
is what I think should happen moving forward after this is over. I think they should go into
what's up, Don?
16 16 team playoff, right? And then you can kind of give these automatic bids. You get what I'm saying? So each of these conferences may get two teams. So you get six teams total, and then the rest of the six can be whatever they're going to be. Because you would alleviate some of these issues with a conference championship, and you just get rid of the conference championship. The conference winner is the one with the best record or best. You can kind of figure that out, like they do in NFL or any other type of collegiate sport. As far as who's the conference winner, or that don't have championship games. Sometimes it might be a tie, you know what I mean, or whatever, it be a shared conference championship. But at the end of the day, the goal was to win a national championship, and everybody wants to be 100%
So what is
how
it?
they can be versus.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to think. Like that'd be kind of whack, though. They've been
Which part?
doing the championship games forever.
Yeah, but it's
Like
changed
that.
now.
Yeah, it has changed.
It's changed. I mean, think about the NFL. Do you think? Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously it's good for teams to win their division because it gives them the automatic seeding, automatic bye, whatever situation may be. So that's kind of
Right.
how
Right.
the NCAA needs to start shaping itself versus having championship games. You know,
So who gets left out? Like
well,
who
you
can?
got
Let me see. What's the rankings right now?
So you got
But
so you
there's still a
got
couple games left, though.
Oregon is straight. They're going to be the number 1 seed. Ohio State, they got to play Indiana this week. That's a big game. Then they got to play
Yeah, that's a
Michigan.
big game.
So those are 2 big games back to back. Texas looks like they're going to probably be 11-1. They don't have any huge games ahead of them. They got Kentucky at home and okay, so Texas A&M. That could be a tricky one. The last week of the season for Texas. Penn State, nothing too crazy to close out. They got Minnesota and Maryland. They should handle business there. Notre
Yep.
Dame's gonna handle business. Alabama gets a little tricky. They got Oklahoma. Then they play Auburn in a big rivalry game there. Obviously, Alabama can't lose any of those 2 games. They're going to drop out. So
But
Miami.
if they come back and win the SEC championship, they're automatically in, though.
Yeah, but I don't see how they get to the SEC championship if they lose any of these next 2 games.
What if they win one and lose another?
No, they don't get to because they got all. I mean, which one? Oklahoma? They lose Oklahoma and beat Auburn? I guess, yeah. Because
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, Oklahoma both are ace. They're both SEC teams, so they can't lose another SEC team.
Yeah,
Right? They already lost to Vanderbilt, and they already lost to Tennessee. So, Alabama really can't lose another game. Georgia's kind of in the same boat, but they got big wins. Big wins against Texas, big at Texas. They got big wins.
They just got beat Tennessee too,
and beat Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
So they did lose to Ole Miss, but Ole Miss is a top team. So yeah, it's interesting. I think what's going to happen here. I don't see how. Tell you the truth, I don't see how who else is going to get in here from the Big 12. I don't see how the Big 12 sneaks in here.
What's the playoffs? Is it 10, 12?
It's 12 teams.
12 teams.
I mean,
so playoffs right now, you would have Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indy, Notre Dame, Bama, Miami, Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, and Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
with
your
2 weeks. With 2 weeks to go, plus championship games.
Race to the finish, man. I love it. This is why we love sports. Always a storyline to talk about.
Yeah, that 11th and 12th seed is going to be interesting. Because Colorado went out and sneak into the 12th or 11th seed. Does BYU bounce back and win the Big 12 and sneak in the 11th or 12th seed? But it's not enough room for 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting how it all plays out. We'll and make sure we'll always got the bets for y'all the way it runs. So yeah, make sure y'all guys check us out with that. All right. In more recent news, the Philadelphia 76ers lost to the Memphis Grizzlies today. And this man was on. Everybody was there today. Believe it or not. Everybody was in uniform. Paul George, Maxey, and Embiid, our big 3 was there. But here is where it gets interesting. If you haven't heard, you probably heard it's been on everywhere, especially here in local Philadelphia news. There was a players meeting. I think coaches were there, but mostly a players meeting where players were talking behind closed doors. I'm going to say it was just a players meeting, players only meeting. And Tyrese Maxey called out the big fella and said, yo, bro, you're not holding your weight. You're late to things. You are not being what we need as a leader, pretty much. And just, kind of just say, hey, like, we need you to be better because we're only going to go as far as you take us. And if you're late to everything, that means you're disrespecting the coaches and the people who put the time in and that you really just don't give a shit. And he could be on that tip too. You know what I mean? Like, he really could. I mean, especially with some of the questions and the things that how he answered with the media. So I think there's a lot to take away from that. First, I think right now, from what we are hearing today, like the media kind of blew this one out of proportion. Like it's not as, I guess, maybe they're doing, damage control, but it's not as big a deal that it's been on throughout all of media, social media, airways, radio, et cetera, et cetera. But I gathered two major things. One, there's a major problem in the locker room. And then two, you have Maxey actually really coming to his own as a leader. And we're watching that right before our eyes because that's what leaders do, right? They hold other people and themselves as accountable as they can. So um, I think the second part's easy to explain and see that. I think the first part is a little bit different because I didn't see this coming. And now a lot of people are talking about, well, if he was hurt, why'd he go to the Olympics? But my thing is, all big stars go to the Olympics. This ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? They all go to the Olympics. They all want to get gold. It's like that. I think that's neither here or there. People are calling him selfish, and he should have got himself healthy for the season. Yo, bro wanted to go win and go play with the best talent in the world. He could have played France, I think, or something like that, and he didn't. Why? Because he knew US was going to win, and he wanted to be a part of that. I mean, we questioned, had videos like, was this team as good as the Dream Team, the way they were constructed and in the way that they were playing? So I get that part, but the way we talked about already, the way the whole thing was handled in the beginning of the season with the Sixers and his injuries, how he's still looks like he's not in shape. Now, I didn't watch the game today. I know he had a decent game, probably more of an Embiid game. What was like 30 something, 30 and 12 or something like
35.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. So that was more of an Embiid-esque game. But I don't know what it looked like. Did it pass the eye test? And I think that his attitude and what we're getting a glimpse of what it looks like behind the scenes of being late all the time, like that's a major issue, dog. Like that's a major issue for your best player, for your captain, for your leader to act like he doesn't give a shit. Especially when you have so many new pieces on this team when you're trying to rebuild culture. Because it's a new team. It ain't the same team from last year when they had a decent culture. It's a completely new team. So you have to redo that. Now, did you have some of the same pieces that can help you that? You do. But then you have a brand new star in Paul George. You know what I mean?
Brand new old star in Paul George.
Yeah, right. Then you got some new energy from is it McLean?
100%.
Jared McLean? Yeah.
Derek McLean, yep.
Yep.
I call him Dancing. I call him Dancing McLean.
Dancing McLean? Okay. So you got some way type of different energy with him. Can play, but it's different. It's probably a little bit different in locker room. You look to your left and you see him set up doing TikTok dances. You know what I'm saying? Like just different energy. So you got to figure it out. You know what I mean? You got to bring in that cohesive together. And we all know, I know people watching know basketball. You can't just put stars together and just think it's going to work. It takes time for them to understand how to play with each other, be around each other, hang with each other, et cetera, et cetera. And cats got money too, right? A couple people got paid on the team. Does that change their attitude? That change the way they move. Hey, shit, look at Embiid, Supermax. Oh, I'm the man. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Oubre got paid. You know what I mean? It has his attitude kind of changed a little bit.
Maxey,
did Maxey get paid too?
Maxey got paid.
Yeah, Maxey got paid. You know what I mean? So a lot of moving parts, a lot of different things going on in that locker room. I know I kind of monologued and said a lot, but what do you see, bro? Like, what did you see with this call out and trying to look underneath the layers of, some of the things that I said? What are you saying, with this call out? And, is this a Nick Nurse problem? Is this a Sixers problem? Is it a Philadelphia problem? Right? Because, Is because there's a lot of problems going on, and I'm not sure about any solutions because they're literally they have the worst record in the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, well, first off, anybody that plays sports, obviously we play sports. This is not normal. This is not unusual for
Facts.
player only when team only meetings.
Yeah, facts.
And most of those meetings are meetings that are about grievances and calling each other out and forcing a different attitude that need to be jump started within that organization or at least within the team.
Right.
So it's not about what was said in the locker room. I think the only thing that the media kind of ran with was more of the um, idea that we are looking at Embiid, and it seems like a snowball effect of issues that his name continues to keep coming up. Right? It started with I'm not playing back to backs. Like,
Mm.
what are we doing? You got a whole,
Mm.
like you said, we got a whole new big three. You got a couple of play pieces and players that are coming in. They got to figure out you're the key piece. You are
Mm.
the key piece to this offense. You can't not play. How do they get any rhythm? How do you get any chemistry of knowing where you like the ball at, where you're going to pick and pop? Like that's all about chemistry of knowing knowing where your teammates going. How you know? Matter of fact, at the end of the game, excuse me. Matter of fact, at the end of the game, you threw the ball to the corner and turned the ball over because you were probably expecting somebody to be in the corner. But since you're not playing, you have no rhythm.
Mm.
So I'm not upset about the actual context of the meeting. I want to give salute to Maxey for having the courage and stepping up as a leader. He realized, and we all love Maxey here. Philadelphia fans love Maxey, and I'm really happy that he's like, you know what, this is my team. Like, yo, bro. And if for somebody to say something to somebody, it gotta been bad. It ain't one time you come in late. It ain't like
He
it's
said
an
late
attitude.
for every. The words are
It's
late for everything.
correct. It's an attitude thing. And
Yeah.
he's looking in the locker room and saying, "Bro, we need you out here. I don't care if you hurt or not. Just you're the face of the franchise. You got Dancing McCain out here hooping, but he don't
He
really know what
hooping though.
he hooping. But that's all
Yeah,
he
he's
just
hooping for
because he's a
sure.
hooper. But he don't know what the NBA is about. And when you
Yeah.
look at the leader of the team that's in here lackadaisical or not making the meetings, it sets a tone and a precedent in the locker room that now everybody can kind of do what the fuck they want to do.
Exactly.
So I'm a really appreciative of Maxie stepping up and making that comment. I'm just pissed off that it got out. So who's the fucking
Yeah,
snitch?
yeah, yeah. Who's the leak?
Who's the leak?
Yeah, who's the
That's
leak?
the person that need to
That's the
get burnt,
problem.
right?
That's the
That's the
problem.
issue.
Who's the league? And I can't stand WIP and all these Philadelphia media.
Mhm.
Not like we're already at trading Embiid. That's where we're at. Like
Right.
trading Embiid. Now, to be fair, I think we talked about this probably every year he's gotten hurt in the
Yeah.
playoffs. But you would never get fair value from him. And now that he looks like possibly has the best team he's ever had around him. Maybe I guess maybe since that five with Jimmy, was Ben on that team too?
Yeah.
Jimmy,
Mhm.
Ben, Redick.
And
Was that
Tobias.
the Toronto year? The year where they
Mhm.
lost to Toronto?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, ever since like that year, this might be the best team he's been around, but they got to play together.
But this
But
this what I'm
hey,
saying.
but you might be right. Flagging for flag, right? Or what's it bull name? Is it
Yes,
flag?
Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag.
That four piece we might be missing.
Yeah,
I mean,
get
when I watch
another
this team,
Cooper in here.
it's very difficult to watch this team. Like they played Memphis without two of their stars. Smart didn't play. John Morant didn't play. They backup center didn't play. Who was a top pick in the NBA draft. They they just don't have the energy, nor do they have the cohesiveness within the team, and you can see it on the field, on the court. So my thing, I'm looking at Embiid. I just think I think he's burnt out. I think Embiid is burnt
Like
out.
when you say burnt out, like
I
Sixers
think
burnt out.
I think he's basketball burnt out. I don't know what needs to rejuvenate
Mm,
him. I think he's just basketball burnt out because that's the only way you're acting this way, right? Late to meetings, don't look like you're enthused about basketball. Like he just don't. It looks like he's lost the love of the game. I'm not. I'm now. This is just my opinion. I'm not speaking for him. I'm telling you what it looks like. And yeah, PG did get hurt again.
you heard the
Same
say. I think.
hyperextended knee.
I just read it's the same knee. He
Yeah.
hyperextended it again.
So I just think that and when you have your leader that's just not engaged, it just melts throughout the whole locker room. And Maxey's the spirit that's trying to say, like, bro, I'm out here ready to play. I'm out here running up and down the court. But there's only two people I can really see that's showing the energy, and that's Maxey and McCain. They're the only two players that actually you can see doing something in the court or looking like they're doing it at a fast rate.
Well, losing sucks, and being this bad sucks. So I'm pretty sure the morale of the team is no good. And I like Nick, right? I think Nurse is somewhat of a decent coach. But you know, they're gonna have to figure it out. And it looks like Paul George, like Don put up there, Paul George is gonna be out for, I was assuming, extended period of time. You know, and then I guess Maxey was on minutes restriction because I'm looking at the stat line. He only played 19 minutes. I mean, McClain played 40 minutes. Oubre had 22. That one cat, was it? I think this is the guy from France, right? They picked up.
Yep.
Besso?
Or the one that dunked on LeBron.
Did he?
That's how he got the job.
Is that how he? Oh, yeah, that's right. He did do it yeah. That is right. I mean, but they had a bad shoot night. I mean, Caleb. Is it? What's Martin's first name? Is it Caleb or Caleb?
Caleb Martin. Yeah.
Caleb. Yeah, I know they pronounce it there. Caleb. Yeah, Caleb Martin only had 2 points. Paul George got hurt, 2 points. Maxey only had 8. So, yeah, it's tough. 2-12.
2-12.
That's like back in like Witherspoon days. Clarence Witherspoon. I'm trying to think who else was on that team. Darren Dawkins.
Stackhouse on that one?
Was like when Stackhouse first got drafted. Like they were horrible.
Yeah.
They were horrible.
It's like that. But hopefully, like I said, they'll turn it around.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
like I said, it all depends on what type of energy happens in that locker room that changes that up. So.
Yeah. All right, well, let's turn it around with this type of energy because we heard now that the big fight is over. Mike Tyson versus Paul George. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. But now everybody's talking about, all right, now that shit was rigged because everybody hated the fight. I looked at it a completely different way. I thought it was a magnificent event because I did. I really did because I can't hate on somebody who keeps fucking winning. And the Paul brothers and Jake Paul keep winning. You know what I mean? They keep winning. You know what I mean? Got a beautiful woman on his arm, sold out Jerry World for the world to see. For pretty much like a expert, you know, like a sparring match with Mike Tyson. For the world to see. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And people hating on that. Now I think
they're hating on the fight, not necessarily him.
Yeah, they hating on the fight because they wanted to see him get knocked out.
I mean, they wanted a little bit more than that. I mean, you can really see this. Mike was a little either he was just super old, or he was just really handcuffed.
Yeah,
it didn't look good, but he looked like all of 57 or 8 years old that he is. I'll tell you that.
Rigged. Here's some evidence you might have missed. Tyson was doing fantastic at the beginning, landing some big shots and knocking Jake around the ring. But that changed when Paul clinched with Tyson.
All right, let's rewind that because I saw this once, but I didn't see he fell back a little bit with that jab. Do you see how far Paul fell back?
Definitely rigged. Here's some evidence you might have missed. Tyson was doing fantastic at the beginning, landing some big shots and knocking Jake around the ring. But that changed when Paul clinched with Tyson. It's alleged he whispered into Tyson's ear to cool it, and the message was confirmed received by Tyson with the affirming tap on the back. After that moment, Tyson became a stick in the mud, standing directly in front of Paul with no more aggressiveness to him. Like here, for instance, Tyson can see the right hand plain as day and makes no attempt to slip it. My next reason is Tyson was definitely pulling his punches. Tyson looked as if he was struggling to hold back and not throw punches at Paul. Here's a perfect example. Tyson deflects the shot off his shoulder, comes up in perfect position to land a counter right hand, but does nothing. Very uncharacteristic. And my final reason is Tyson biting his glove. The reason he was doing this was to remind himself not to throw punches and let Jake control the pace. Was this fight a fake? Let me know in the comments.
I do think that was like the biggest tell. I've never seen him do that as much.
So I don't want to take credit. Punch Drunk Boxing on TikTok if y'all want to see more of that. And I want to take credit for anything I didn't put up. But I thought he did a pretty decent job of putting that together. So for me, when I saw the fight, he did look old. He was biting his glove a lot. It was obviously apparent. I don't know if that's just some old tick biting fixation that he said. I mean, you'd have to go back to old things, but I think during the fight, the one guy was saying like that's something he does. It was just so apparent in this fight that it was just kind of not normal, pretty much.
That was odd to me.
Yeah, I mean, but he said the dude said he's done it in every fight. He's like I just don't remember it being that apparent. Like
that's what I'm saying. So we know this is all speculation,
right?
But we both can agree that Mike is a wild guy. Like he's
right,
he's
Don,
an
you're
animal.
going to chill, Don. Don, come on now.
Damn,
I know, right, Don? You come on now.
But he's right though. Listen,
no, chill, Don. I can't wait for the Lions to lose. Can't wait.
Damn, he want the Lions to lose.
I can't wait for the Lions to lose. We might not see Don again for a little bit because it's the last. Actually, no, y'all got a good team. Y'all gonna be together for a while.
They can lose. They got room to lose. That's for sure.
Yeah, they do. They do. But go ahead. My bad.
No, I'm just thinking. We know that he's a loose cannon. We know he has to try to control himself. That's why when I was looking at him doing, because like you said, the guy said that he's done it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But this was so apparent that it was like almost him trying his best by biting his glove is almost like restraining himself from the opportunities that he probably was seeing in the ring.
Yeah.
Now, did he look like he can move? No, but I did see tapes with him prior.
Yeah, he looked clean. Yeah,
getting it in. So where was that? Where was that?
But I don't remember the knee brace. I think he might have got hurt. I mean, he is 60, right? Doing that type of movement, like it looked so fluid. He looked clean. You know what I mean? And he almost tripped. Remember, he almost tripped when he walked in. So that leg could have really been injured. And and when it came out afterwards, what did he say? What did Mike Tyson say? That he almost died. You know what I mean? He had like 4 or 5 blood transfusions. You didn't see that? Let me see if I can pull that
after the fight.
Yeah, after the fight, he said, he said something where like some people think that some people still win when they lose. And like he should have died. Now the first thing was you heard the story about the AIDS thing, right?
What?
Oh wow. Yeah. All right. So let me
what's going on here?
Yeah, let me bring this joint up first. Let me get this.
Are these all good sources?
That's from Mike. Like this is Mike Tyson. Now I'm hoping he does his Twitter. I'm thinking he does his Twitter. But I mean, it's from his official Twitter.
So he's volunteering information out like that? That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I always thought he was in a lot better space than he was financially. Obviously, he had to pay all his debt, pay Don King, et cetera, et cetera. But with his, his apparel, his podcast, his HBO special, I thought he was really like not making more money than he was then because he made a ton of money, but like really put himself back in a really good financial situation. Doesn't seem like that's the case. I think that might be just an assumption.
He got 20 million. So
yeah, he got 20 million. Is this it right here? Yeah. So let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what's this about? Breaking news.
I don't know if it's breaking, but some new contacts. All right, there we go. All right. So this is Mike Tyson's one of his recent posts about how he almost died. Did it come up? My bad.
Yep.
There it is. So there was this is one of those situations when you lost but still won. I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to getting the ring one last time. Almost died in June. Had 8 blood transfusions. Lost half my blood. 25 pounds in the hospital. And I had to fight to get healthy to fight. So I won. Had my children stand toe to toe and finished 8 rounds with a talented fighter. Half my age in front of a packed Dallas Cowboys stadium. Experience that no man has the right to ask for. Thank you. So I don't know why he needed 8 blood transfusions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Is that something where, like, got hurt, got cut, he just couldn't stop bleeding? I think that's a thing with like blood thinners. Could be something like part of that, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, that's from, in the little check and Mike Tyson. That's from Mike Tyson's Twitter. So that comes straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. So
and what about the AIDS?
Oh, so the AIDS thing, he said, get to the real shit, dog. He said, fuck that sentimental. So hold on, what happened to him? What, he had AIDS? What?
I'm like, what? Something about AIDS?
Yeah. So what he said was that pretty much he feels pretty saved by God at this point, because he said him and another person had a threesome with a woman who actually tested positive for AIDS. And the woman, unprotected, of course, the woman had AIDS. The guy got AIDS. He did not. He walked away unscathed. That's what the story is. We heard Mike say a lot.
It's a recent story. This is an old Mike. New Mike.
No, this is new Mike Tyson. This is new Mike Tyson.
So new Mike Tyson had a threesome with a woman that tested positive with AIDS.
Yep. Let me see if I can find the official John. Let me see.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, listen.
Yeah, this was an interview that he did, that he had. It wasn't thank you very much. I won't let you down. I know you won't. We both made it out. Life isn't over. Yeah, so he answers, hey, life isn't over yet. We're still fighting. We only make it out on the day of our death. There's no way I should be here talking to you right now. All my friends are dead. They OD'd. They had AIDS. Me and my friend both had sex with this girl at the same time. They both died of AIDS. I didn't catch AIDS.
He died of AIDS. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is his history.
Yeah.
So he's talking about something that happened in the past.
Raw too. That's what he said.
Damn.
He's like,
so he's saying he's
too.
talking about his life, like the shit that he did, and because he said he died. So I mean,
yeah. I don't see any context of when that exactly was. So
we knew Mike was a wild bull. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Come on, man.
So I guess he does feel blessed and saved.
Yeah, he is blessed.
Yeah.
It's still his. I mean, they've already made a couple movies, but his life is a movie. There's no other way to call it. His life is a movie.
Listen, 58 years old, able to kind of pack out an arena, have 70,000 fans screaming your name at 58. Listen, I mean, 20 million in your pocket.
I know Mike was still greasing like that. Hey, it's Mike Tyson talk.
I mean, I don't know now. Them legs look crazy.
I like how you say greasing like that. You said greasing.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if that's old Mike. That might be a little bit of young Mike, but hey.
Yeah, that was Mike. That was young Mike. That ain't the old. That ain't the legs I saw. Them legs can't do too much.
Shit. I mean, Shannon got a new hip. Shannon sound like he was putting in some work.
That is true. I mean, you're right. Shannon ain't 58 years old though.
No, he's not. You saw he did the I think he did a Keke Palmer, John?
I didn't see that one, no.
Yeah. Some of them, they you know what? With Shannon, like, his everybody's going in an interview and everybody's going in to tell their story. But it's just like nothing can touch Cat. Like I think they're looking for that moment and that viral moment being on that show and saying something that, like, even she made a joke about the whole Michelle thing. You know what I mean? And some of the sides and some of the stories are good, I would say, because I didn't know Keke Palmer was in Hollywood since she was like 11.
Yeah, she's a young.
You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? So she's got probably a story to tell for sure. Yeah. But she's so out of the limelight. You know what I mean? Like you know Keke our age. Like young people don't know who Keke Martin, you know what I mean, who she is. Keke Palmer is. So still look good though. Yeah, I think people who go on there are trying to find that moment and they just can't capture it. They really can't. It's just supposedly this is what the rumor is. Supposedly he dropped this with Ocho. Looks like Cat's coming back for round 2. Hey. And that should probably break YouTube real quick.
Well, Cat just posted something viral that he had a picture taken with him saying he opened up the portal or something like that. I don't know. I didn't read it. I gotta get to it.
Yeah, well, he's going. I mean, I didn't go back and look at the interview he did, but I mean,
well, listen, Cat said this was going to happen. Cat said a lot was about to happen, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, and the last thing I saw with Cat, he said that okay, now the Band-Aid's been taken off, now the scab, now the healing can be coming. It's really weird because you know how we talk to politics and stuff, and we'll get into the other side, I guess, the funny side of what's going on with Trump, but we all know what's behind Trump and what that represents. But it's like everywhere I see in terms of like people that I think have some credibility, they're all saying that we're about to rush into this golden years of USA. Like the United States is about to go on this like trajectory where we're going up. Like, so here's a perfect example real quick, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but here's a perfect example. Like, would you trade anybody's economy for ours? Like in the world, like the globe, like the world. Like, do we not have the best economy in the world?
Yeah, our economy's
and like it's growing, like it's strong. Like I think I read for the first time, like it's been like 25 years since the dollar has been like, like the dollar every year goes down. Like this, it's not going down. Like it's holding or getting stronger. You know what I mean? Obviously our markets are through the roof and stuff like that right now, breaking gold records and stuff like that. Bitcoin is already about to hit 100K soon here. Like all that stuff, like even with Elon being part of the government and like, I think Kim Kardashian showing off the robot, like it's about to be like a whole new like .com era. You know what I mean? Like that boom is what like I'm starting to see different little pieces of things like starting to be, kind of like, look, they just did crazy numbers on Netflix for streaming. That's just the beginning, right? Like that's just the beginning. That's what I mean. Like all this stuff is like all lining up like perfectly with the stars where like we're going to take a huge step, forward. And it's going to be like when I say golden age, it's not just for a certain Democrat, like everybody is going to be able to, get, and there's always losers, right? There's always losers. I think that's the last thing I saw Kat say, though, that we're about to enter the golden age that we haven't seen in, some time.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so
Cat is usually tight with his stuff, so.
Yeah. It's really interesting though, because it's like you wouldn't think the faces that are in the places they are would be, the ones in front of the captainship, you know what I mean, leading the charge. But that's what it is. And kind of speaking, I guess this is a great segue. As we saw how the presidential election was a changing of the guard, changing of the guard in sports too. And from NFL, NBA, Major League, Major League Baseball, tennis. I did see Nadal just had his last match, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, talk to me about this one, man. What do you? I think the NBA already had this switch over. I'm interested to know what your thoughts. Well, what you're talking about in terms of like NFL, baseball. Like, what are you seeing that's changing of the guards? I guess pretty much out with the old and in with the new.
I mean, for me, why I thought it's a bittersweet situation for guys like us, guys that are in their 30s and their 40s, because this is really kind of like the first full wave that we've actually had impact of seeing full careers, right? Like we came in at the middle to where we focus on sports of like the Mike era, like 80s babies. So by the time we were teenagers, he was pretty much rolling out. So we seen the whole, like we're talking about LeBron James that'll be exiting within a few years or now. We've seen his whole career.
Like I said, a few years. He got one.
He just had 4 triple doubles in a row. Like I don't know what he going in.
He said a few years.
The dude's he's a fucking robot himself. Talk about robots.
He's got one. Real shit. How many years you think Bron got?
I don't know. I just told you he had 4 straight triple doubles. I don't know. I don't know. As long as he wants. I mean,
nah, bro. No, Father Time got to catch up. So it's just undefeated. You're not going to.
Father Time is undefeated. I agree. I don't know when the Father Time's going to kick in for him. It doesn't look like it. He's still running up and down.
One more year.
Down courts.
You think maybe one more year?
I think how much do we have in the tank, or how much he wants to play longer? Like I think he's coming to the end.
That's a good question.
Right. I think he only probably 2 more years.
2 at max.
I think that's max that he will want to play.
What other records can he break? Is there any other records he can break? He done broke them all. Outside of winning rings.
Yeah.
Like individual. Is there anything he's chasing? Because he became the leading point.
Leading scorer.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's up there in games. Like he's been playing for 20 years.
For sure. I gotta look it up. I mean, that's a quick Google. I gotta look it up. But,
yeah.
But I mean, back to the point. I just think this is bittersweet because we're seeing like greatness leave us. Right. Serena Williams was not that long ago. Rafael Nadal just happened. Just if you're into tennis,
like yesterday.
Rafael Nadal was yesterday. Roger Federer was a year ago. Even not even just like sport figures. We're talking about our classic, entertainers. You know what I'm saying? Getting older. Like I'm looking at Denzel.
Denzel talked about it.
He got a big movie coming out this weekend, but he talked about retiring. It's
you
like
going to see that John this weekend?
Absolutely. I'm going tomorrow.
Word? You going tomorrow?
Yeah, I was a big Gladiator.
I remember you told me y'all movie people folks.
Yeah, so I'm a big Gladiator guy, so I'm gonna definitely check it out. Especially I'm a super Denzel fan, so I can see Denzel.
So hold on, is that a like during the day, John?
No. Night? It's a night.
Are you gonna do night release? Yeah. Damn, he said he going. Damn, that's a Thursday night 12 o'clock release joint.
No, they released all day Thursday. So
okay.
3 or 7, 11.
I was thinking about seeing it. I don't know if we'll be able to get to it this weekend though.
Yeah, it's but I'm a Denzel guy. And he's playing them.
Yeah.
Movies. So I
guess so. And some of the stars are starting to like really start to show too. I think it's another thing. Like we just talked about a new star in the league, Maxey, right? We already know about Ant-Man. Tatum's starting to establish himself as a top star in the league. I'm trying to think of some other new guys. Is it Pablo from Orlando?
Banchero, yeah, Orlando. I mean, obviously,
he just dropped 50, right? Not too long ago.
He did drop 50 he's hurt now, but
yeah, he dropped 50. I'm trying to think of any kind of really big new stars.
Yeah, big fella out in San Antonio. He just dropped.
Was it Wayambi?
Yeah, he just dropped like 50, I think.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, there's definitely like, it's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when I was looking at sports, it's a little bit different. Games change. So it's just that adjustment and just pretty much letting us know that we getting old and It's probably another, like, you know what I mean?
Bro, you see it, right?
Yeah, I saw it. You said you did some Just for Men. I was like, yo, you got some great peeping it.
Yeah. Damn, dog, you gonna throw me out there, man, with the Just for Men? Damn,
you said that.
We supposed. I didn't. You just said that. I didn't say that.
You said it on the.
I said it before we went live.
No, that was on the joint.
That shit wasn't recorded.
I think it was recorded. You gotta go back and check. It was definitely recorded. It definitely was recorded, bro.
God damn, bro.
If it wasn't, my bad. But I thought we definitely had it recorded. It was definitely in this.
That's supposed to be like the camera magic, right? You know what I mean? You see with the grade and then come back, you know what I mean, with the jet
you
black.
gotta embrace it, man. You gotta embrace that pepper. I mean, that salt and pepper in there. You gotta embrace it.
Nah, I'm not there yet, man. I'm not. What? Maybe like when I get to like 50, which we got some years. Yeah, but you've been salt and pepper since you was in your early 30s, though. You was early, though.
20s.
Like when you that early and you get the salt and pepper, then you let it. You're like,
I got this patch in my 20s.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you just had a patch at one point. Yeah. You ain't never dyed your joint?
Never.
No?
I mean, in high school, when everybody was rocking that Beijing for the prom. But
the orange box.
You know, the good Carl Thomas with the little Sebastian Wet, that little dye. That was about it.
Right. That's funny as hell, man. That's funny as hell. All right, we got some people in here, man. So make sure y'all go ahead and hit that follow, hit that subscribe, holla at your boys, man. We always have fun on Gambling Nights on Wednesdays nights. But just to let you know, tomorrow we will be dropping our best bets for NFL and college football. So make sure you guys look out for that. And then come back Monday, we will be back with me, Ernie B. And if the homie Humble is around, talking hopefully another victory Monday for the Philadelphia Eagles on our I don't know what I call it. We tried a couple of names, man. Like you tried, bird's eye view, but it kind of went back to money pot. I don't know, I don't know. We'll figure that out. I don't know what that joint is. So a new phenomenon that is sweeping TikTok, sweeping social media, sweeping sports, college and high school, and the pros. Let's get, there was a big fight this weekend. Let's see your UFC champion busting it out. The Trump dance.
Talk about
still. How good is Johnny Bones? How good? Wow. He did the Trump dance. He did the Trump dance.
He did the Trump dance.
Oh,
maybe I should have did it. I thought that was the kind of more of the better ones I've seen. But obviously, this has been going around a lot, and I think it's starting to kind of. One, I think it makes people mad, right? Because a lot of people hate Donald Trump, and so it's annoying to them. But also, it's just because of what we kind of talked about before. Everything behind him. You already know who the man is and things like that, but what comes with him and everything behind him and what he represents, or what the media says, whatever you think about the whole thing situation. Now it's starting to where I think the NFL is starting about possibly banning it because it is a political, I guess, statement or something like that.
They did say today they weren't.
I didn't agree with that. Because it's just, to me, if you were doing something that symbolized some type of hate speech or something like that, then I would say, you got to get rid of that. You can't do that on national TV. But the dance itself is not it's just some old white guy who can't dance, just moving his arms. You know what I mean? So you did say so they're not going to, I guess, ban it. They're going to allow, I guess, people to keep.
Yeah, NFL said they're not going to jump into that.
But it was up on the ballot, though, right? It was. I guess it did get brought up.
Discussion. I thought the pressure probably was possibly happening, but They didn't say anything.
Let me ask you this: if they did ban it, what do you think? Like, what do you think? Like, what do you? Because do they have strict rules? I think the NFL has strict rules about politics, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of rules that we don't know.
Because Bosa got fined after a while, right? Bosa did get fined.
Like $12,000, something very small.
That's an expensive ass hat.
Not to him. That was worth the $12,000. And I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Trump still gave him a little stipend in the back. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's it. You don't need to when you got $290 million or however much you got money. He be all right with that $12.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess I don't know, bro. What do you think? How long do you think this is gonna last? You think it's going?
I think it's a trendy thing. I think it's funny. I think people think it's funny. This is my thing though. Listen, I don't care what people do. John Jones, when he did it, I thought it was just a little extra because he went over there, bowed down, wanted to kiss his hands. Like this was too much. Like Joe, like bro. But I guess he's a big Trump fan or a Trump guy. I guess he's he showed his colors.
I didn't know that. But I did gather.
You learned that day. It was a little extra. So when I watched that, I was kind of like, okay. But what got to me was in the NFL, right? And I'm seeing a bunch of people doing it in the NFL across the board, white people, black people, and it bothered me because it's almost like we just forget so fast. And I'm thinking in my head, like, it wasn't that long ago that same dance you were talking about was the person that does that dance that you were representing was calling you sons of bitches. And that's where I was going with it. That's where I don't care if any other sport can do what they want to do. It specifically was the football players. And me seeing them, doing that little thing. And I'm like, man, they like, it was a big moment in sports where a man career was sacrificed in representation of something of social justice that pertains to people that look like them. And the target was so big on his back that he lost his job. It became a media frenzy. The story was twisted around to disrespecting the flag, disrespecting the military. A whole bunch of stuff happened within that moment. And my thing is that how did we get to this point? You know what I'm saying? Like, How did we get to the point where we think this is fun? So that's kind of where I was at with it. It wasn't about everywhere. It was just more about the football itself.
Yeah, it caught on and got trendy. I think Trump's obviously been to UFC a bunch of times, right? So him and Dana are boys. So I was a little, what kind of got me that was like, oh wow, you're a big Trump supporter, is when he talked about his religion as a champion. That's when like, the whole, because I mean, when you go back to people, even before we knew more about Trump, like they made songs about Trump, like hip hop artists love Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like Trump's got so many pictures with back in the day with hip hop artists and stuff like that. So like, to me, it was just like, people do kind of get this aura about him, even back in the day when he was, when he was more on the real estate business entrepreneur side. So that part really didn't, because he probably still has that type of aura now that he's the president. I get that kind of kiss the ring type deal. But once he said like, I'm a champion, but I'm a Christian champion, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's where I didn't, and then nothing wrong with your faith, religion, all good. You know what I mean? We obviously on tiptoeing on subjects that, it's always quote unquote not good to talk about, from politics and religion and stuff. Got no qualms with Catholicism or Christians or anything like that. But that was the first time he said that, right? In that manner, and because of the platform and obviously who he was just interacting with made him think of that. You know what I mean? So that's when I was like, oh, okay. I was like, you know what I mean? I get that now about you. You know what I mean? You probably beat up every man in the room, but you know what I mean?
For sure. Definitely could.
You know what I mean? So, nobody's not going to say anything about that, but it just like, I thought it was a little bit surprising. You know what I mean? Just a little bit surprising because I think they're, well, maybe not, because I think they're from down south, right? The Jones brothers.
Yeah.
I think they're from down south, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it wasn't really him. Besides the extra, it was more about the NFL players.
Yeah.
That was my gripe.
Yep. All right. So, looking at the chapters that we got here, I think this one's a really big one, kind of underrated. I know you had dropped this one late, and I thought it was a good thing to talk about. And I don't know the timetable. I read up on it just to see what was going on. Good and bad, I think, right? Because we'll get into what this actually means. But story is that NCAA football has, I'm assuming right now, has officially. Was this before this? Was this at the start of the season, or was this like now?
This will be the start of next season.
No,
so season's pretty much the season's over. So this is the last year.
Last year. So they're dropping the roster to 105 players. Well, what does that mean? Because only 11, hats on the field. What does that mean is that there will be no more walk-ons. It'll be all scholar. Well, from what I read, it was like they're getting rid of all walk-ons, and it'll be full scholarship players. So kind of good, right? That quote unquote, every player possibly, if you go to a college, getting a scholarship, whatever that number is. But then it kind of sucks because you don't get those walk-on stories that guy was a walk-on, now he's a starter and he's playing in a national champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's
but from the article I read, how accurate the article is on this, I don't know. But from what I read, that's what my interpretation of this was.
So normally what happens is in college football, 85 scholarship athletes, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're narrowing it down. You're able to add now 20 more scholarships, which makes it 105.
Right.
The problem with that is that usually rosters, especially big schools, your Alabamas, your Clemsons, they carry about 150 players. So you have those 150 players are usually walk-ons, non-scholarship athletes that give you the opportunity to kind of just experience football, just being a part of it, right? Like there's a lot of walk-ons that end up making on the team and are successful. It's just the opportunity for kids. And I think coaches are having a big problem with that because now they have to make that transition to say, hey guys, minus the seniors, you won't be coming back. And then where it gets a little greasy is that what about the transfer portals that's already full? So now you're pushing further and further, more and more people back with the transfer portal. So that last people on the roster that have the scholarships now are getting pushed out the way. And then you got the holdouts of other people not knowing if they're going to leave or not and stay. So it becomes a little nasty. It's a dirty game. It's unfortunate, right? Because there's a lot of opportunity. A lot of guys have opportunity to play on a team or be a part of a team, practice squads, stuff like that. And that's huge, man. So a lot of coaches are upset about that because they gotta spread the bad news to those guys. I just thought it was interesting. I don't know why they're doing it, what the reason is doing it. I think there's more.
I don't know
things.
either.
I think there's other things they can be worried about. But yeah, man, it's tough.
Because then I think if I was a head coach, that tells me that I have to recruit just for practice squad. Like I have to get a player that I know, 8 times out of 10 is not going to play on game day, outside of maybe senior day. Because there's got to be like when you're a walk on, like you're automatically on the, you know what I mean? Unless you show something special, you're on the practice squad.
You're on the practice squad,
sure. Yeah, for sure. So you count on those numbers to be able to fill out those practice squad where you can give your guys who play reps and looks. So with that being said, that if I have to give everybody a scholarship and I'm 105, I have to take at least 10 guys that I recruit. They're going to be nothing but scout. And I'm going to tell you, like, hey, unfortunately, it's really unlikely that you get on the field, but you can come be part of a winning culture. You can come be part of a team.
Which is huge for a lot of people.
Yeah, and you might get injuries happens in the game all the time, so you might get a chance there. But we're not looking at you as a full scholarship player or you ever to play football for this team on the field. You're going to be strictly a practice squad guy, and some of those guys, you never know. Some of those guys will give you a free education to do it.
And a lot of those guys sometimes get scholarships. These walk-ons, there's a lot of times you see tapes of them.
Guys, you always see those
scholarships.
stories.
You see the tapes, and the guys like, oh my God,
like every team. Every team has that story.
Scholarship opens up. The hardest working walk-on gets the opportunity. Listen, it would never be Rudy if it wasn't for that walk-on opportunity.
Right.
Rudy played the game of football because he loved football. He loved Notre Dame, and he was able to make the roster, make the practice squad, and get on the field. So it's just a sad moment for teams, and it's worse for the coaches to tell players that they got to cut 45 players right now. They got to cut 45 players.
Yeah. No, it is, and I think it sucks too. Like you get recruited from say a big school, a marquee school, and they tell you like, yo, sorry, bro, you're probably not going to play. So, but you can come play practice squad for us. Like, who's doing that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that, especially some of those big programs where they, what I mean, it's like a circle, right? They recycle, and then the second backup is nice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a tough deal.
The cool thing that I think some of the coaches are doing though for this week, they're allowing some of those juniors that are in that mist of the people that won't be back to have a senior day. Right, so they'll be able to kind of be represented this week at home games. Almost a salute to them. And I'm sure they'll be dressed, whatever the situation may or may not be.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, what also? Damn, I can't say that. That's a no Diddy right away.
Caught it. That's
yeah. Caught it right before, man. The show's over. Right, that's what's the bad news. The show's over, but what's the good news is y'all should hit that subscribe button, and y'all can see us again come tomorrow when we drop in these plays, because we all need to get paid. It is November 20th. Christmas is right around the corner.
That's true.
And I need a couple presents, because we got some more mouths to feed in the Moss family.
You got a big present coming. You got the biggest present.
Yeah, so. I got to make sure we got some things underneath the tree, man. So I need to go win some money. Last 2 weeks been mediocre. We were hot for a good stretch there in the beginning. Last 2 weeks we kind of mediocre. And if you want to understand like how do you fight through that little spell and how you kind of bet yourself out of it, like I said, man, hit the subscribe, hit the notification button, come on and jump on the goddamn money team. And let's get this money and let's get this bread. But for tonight, that was the show. Thanks for everybody for joining and watching. Appreciate all the comments. As always, Don, you are our guy. Appreciate you as always, bro. I am Moss Money. That is Be Humble. This is Game of the Nights. Good night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.